Welcome back, scholars. Today we're going to look at something called point of view. Now, point of view I know you've thought of before because everybody in the whole wide world has their own point of view. Now think, have you ever disagreed with somebody? Like, let's say somebody asks you, what's the best dessert in the whole wide world? And you say, obviously it's cake because it's delicious. And then somebody says, nah, I think that brownies are the best. And a third person says, no way. Chocolate chip cookies, that's where it's at. When you have like all those different opinions, that's point of view. So anytime you're thinking or feeling something, that connects to point of view. So today we're going to look at point of view when it comes to our reading. We're going to look at a couple of stories, and as you look at those stories, you're going to think about the author's point of view or the character's point of view or even your own point of view. So first, we got to think, what is point of view? Point of view is how the author or the characters or the reader, that's you, thinks or feels about something. I like to think about point of view as it's how you see the world through your head and through your heart, because you're taking what you think and what you feel, and that's what helps you to see and understand your point of view. Now, your author is going to think and feel things, and your characters are going to think and feel things. Everybody's going to think or feel things, whether it's your author, your characters, or you when it comes to a story. So that's what point of view is. Now, how do you figure out point of view? There's a couple things you're going to look for. First, you got to look for words or phrases while you're reading through the text, and those are going to express emotions or opinions. So if you read and someone says it's the best or the worst, you know that they're giving opinions. If you say that they feel heartbroken or devastated or excited or elated, that's their point of view because that goes to emotions. So how to find point of view, you're going to look for those keywords or phrases as you're reading that show opinions or show emotions. Now, why do we want to figure out point of view in the first place? Well, because it helps you, the reader, to understand your characters, whether it's their traits or their emotions or their motivations, and it can help you understand your author's purpose. If you know your author's point of view, you'll understand why they're writing their story. If you understand your character's point of view, you're going to understand their traits and their motivations. And most importantly, if you understand your point of view, you're going to be able to connect with the story in very special ways. Like if you agree, if your point of view agrees with the characters of the author, you're going to get one experience while reading. But if your point of view differs from the characters of the authors, you're going to get your own experience too. Okay, so one more time, point of view, what is it? It's how your authors, your characters, your readers think or feel. That's going to be how you see the world through your head and through your heart, through your thoughts and through your feelings. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of practice with this. So we've got this paper if you're working in your packets, and if you're not working in your packets, it's going to be on Google Classroom. Just keep scrolling, okay? If you're in your packets, it's the one that says page 174. And it says author's point of view. We're going to really think today about the author's point of view, but you need to know about your characters and your own point of view too. Hello. So let's go ahead and let's get this out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to think about and practice author's point of view. All right, scholars. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to practice some more with author's point of view. Now, the learning target that they have for us is that you want to understand the difference between an author's point of view and your own, and that will help you understand different ways of looking at a topic, because your authors and your characters and you are all going to see the world through your head and your heart differently. You're all going to have different thoughts and feelings. So if you can understand the difference between the author's point of view and your own, it's going to help you understand. So let's go ahead and we're going to read where it says read. So if you want to read with me, that's fantastic. If you want to follow along, that works too. Let's go ahead and read. Point of view is the way we think or feel about something. For example, you might like a certain kind of music, but a friend of yours may think it's terrible. You both have different points of view about that kind of music. Authors often give their points of view about topics. They do this by using opinion words such as best, worst, beautiful, like, dislike, feel, and believe. As you read, try to figure out the author's point of view by noticing these types of clue words. So this connects back to what we just read, or we just practiced with our chart over on the wall, okay? Point of view is how you think or feel. It's how you see the world through your head or your heart, and whether that's the author or the characters or you, okay? So that's important to know what point of view is. This also tells us how we find it. You can look for emotion words, but we're going to focus right now on opinion words, such as best, worst, beautiful, like, dislike, feel, or believe. These are all those words and phrases that can help you to connect thoughts and feelings. And again, why do we do this? Because it helps you to understand your story more, helps you understand your author, their point of view, their purpose, and helps you understand your characters. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this cartoon. All right, and in this cartoon, we have a woman who's first looking at a piece of art. You can see the art way better in your copy than mine. And then she's on her computer, and then she's typing some things. As we do this, we want to know, how does the woman, I'm going to go ahead and get something to write with. Here we go. How does the woman feel about the art? So in this case, because the woman's typing, she's the author, and she's also kind of a character. So first, in this first picture, I see that she's looking at some art and she's taking some notes. Now that art looks a little bit different than some art that I've seen, and maybe different from what she's seen too. So you see how I'm connecting my point of view? I'm looking at what I'm thinking. This looks kind of different. And I'm wondering what she's thinking too, but I don't know yet. So knowing your point of view can be really helpful. Now let's look at our next picture. We know that she's typing, so this tells you that the woman is an author. Beyond that, I don't know a whole lot based on this picture, but I'm going to look at the next one, okay? And so here she's typing, and in this bubble, it says the same thing, just bigger. It says, I saw a new artist's work today. This painting is so ugly. I can't believe it's in a museum. So I see some important words here, and this is what our directions are down here. It says, look at the cartoon again. Notice the words the woman uses as she writes about the art. What does that tell you about her point of view? So let's see, what does she say about the art? She says the painting is, what is it? So ugly. And also she says she can't believe that it's in a museum. When an art's in a museum, it's usually so people can look at it and admire it. Do you think she's admiring this? Not particularly. She says it's kind of ugly. I don't know if I agree with her or not. I don't know if my point of view is the same or different, but I do know what hers is. All right, and I can tell that by looking at the words in the story. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to practice that. So let's go ahead. If you're on Google Classroom, scroll down. If you are on your packet, go ahead and let's look at the next page. So we just looked at the cartoon. Now we are going to complete the chart by telling the woman's point of view about the art. Okay, so right here, our author in the story is the woman. All right, now you could do the same thing with characters or yourself, but today we're just going to think about the author. Now, I don't know what her point of view is yet. I have to figure that out using details. We know that details is another way of looking at our, let's get my paper to behave, at our text evidence. So what did she say in the text about the art? I'm going to go back and I'm going to look, and I hope you are too. Let's go ahead and look at the cartoon. What did she say about the painting? She said that it's what? Do you see it? I do. It says that it is so ugly. So in my details, I'm going to say the woman says that the painting, I'll move my hand in a second, thank you for being so patient, is so ugly. And I put quotation marks around so ugly because those are not my words, those are the author's words. So one detail I have is that the woman says the painting is so ugly. Now, details, there's an S, that means how many do we need? We need more than one. What's another detail in there? Let's go back and we'll look at the cartoon again. What does she say? She says, I can't believe it's in a museum. So that's another detail I can have. She what? She can't believe it's in a museum. Beautiful. So I went through and I found my two details. Now I'm going to use these details, that text evidence, to help me understand, because remember, when we look at our chart, let's go ahead and we're going to try to flip back to that. All right. Maybe not. Okay. So when we look at our chart, here we go. Ready, set, chart. When we look at it, it tells us for how, it's that we want to look for words or phrases that show opinions or emotions. Did we find words and phrases that show opinions and emotions? Yes, we did. Those words and phrases were that it was ugly and she can't believe it. So right here, I'm seeing some opinion words that it's so ugly and more opinion words that she can't believe. So right here where it says point of view, how do we think the woman feels about the art? Do you think she likes it or do you think she dislikes it? I'm going to give you a second to think. All right, we're going to say it together. Ready? Does she like it or dislike it? 1, 2, 3. She dislikes it. Excellent job, scholars. She dislikes the art. Okay, so now I have her point of view about the art. She's not a big fan of it. And I can prove that because she says it's ugly and that she can't believe it's in a museum. Okay, so what we just did here as good readers and as good scholars is we thought about our author or our character, who is the woman. And to find her point of view, we looked at the details, our text evidence. We want to know how she feels about the art. She says it's so ugly and she can't believe it's in a museum. And because of that, we know that when it comes to her point of view, she dislikes the art. She is not a big fan. Okay, now I'm wondering for yourself, what do you think of the art in the cartoon? Do you have a different point of view? You might agree with the woman that it's not like the prettiest thing. You might think it's ugly and you can't believe it's in a museum. You might dislike it too. You might like the art. You might think it's interesting and different and beautiful and that it should definitely be in a museum so people can see it. Okay, so as good readers and good scholars, we want to think about our point of view. How do you see the world through your head and your heart? How does your character see the world through their head and their heart? How does your author see the world through their head and their heart? What are their thoughts? What are their opinions? What are their feelings? If you can identify that, you can find point of view and you will really understand your stories. Very proud, scholars. Let's go ahead and we'll wrap up our mini lesson and then I'm going to set you free to keep practicing point of view. All right, scholars. So that's going to wrap up our lesson today about point of view. Remember, point of view is going to be how your author or your characters or the reader, that's you, is able to see the world through your head and through your heart, meaning how are you seeing the world? What are you thinking or feeling based on your thoughts and your feelings? If you can figure that out, how do you do it? It's by looking at words or phrases that show opinions, what somebody thinks or believes, and emotions, what you feel. So if you could figure out the point of view, you're going to be able to do that by looking at the words and the phrases that show opinions and emotions. And why do we do this? You're always wondering, why is my teacher teaching me this stuff? Well, the reason why we do this is so that way you, the reader, can better understand your characters and your author. If you're able to understand your characters, you know their traits, you know who they are on the inside based on their actions, dialogue, or thoughts, and you know their motivations, which is why they do or say or think things. You also want to understand your author's purpose. Why is your author writing this? What are their thoughts? What are their opinions? So at the end of the day, if you know point of view, you're going to know so much about your story, okay? So once again, we are so proud of all the amazing work you're doing. I can't wait to see the ways that you are able to find point of view for your authors and your characters and yourself. I cannot wait to read your responses. And I'm so proud of your work. We miss you. We love you. And until next time, goodbye, scholars.